That is absolutely.
Well, if you look at the different roles and functions of government, education's nowhere in there.
Guess what?
Education's nowhere in the Constitution.
Right.
But if you look at common welfare, post roads, so the post office and their transportation system is actually the Constitution. A militia.
Right.
So what really are we supposed to be doing, and what are we doing now?
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
Well, the Constitution,
the militia and the security.
long gone.
I mean, right, true.
Long gone.
But I'm just saying one thing that generally, I mean, I've very rarely found anybody that can disagree with the fact that, yes, the founding fathers all the way up through now. I mean, one thing that we all can agree on is the government is supposed to provide security. It doesn't do that. It shoves it off onto other people all the time.
Well, they got an army, but they're in another country. They're all over the
even
world.
on a local
Canada.
level.
Canada has a federal police department, the RCMP, and it is your local police department, it's your state police department, it's your federal police department, all within one agency.
Yeah, and see, if anything, that seems like it would match our laws much better than what we have now. I mean, like, seriously, how much does TriMet spend on policing? I mean, that's not them doing their job. That's policing.
I have no idea what they.
I mean, but it's got to be a lot. What they got? Like 20 transit cops? They got like 30.
Right, they got to pay for that. I never understand that.
Even fare inspectors, okay? I mean, why should TriMet have to, they have a contract with the customer. They shouldn't, nobody on TriMet should even have to chase down and fare inspect people. The police should do that too. That's illegal actions of commerce.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a security thing.
Yeah.
I mean, why do we have the military floating around protecting oil interests?
Well, the thing about the TriMet security, I mean, they go through cities that have police departments.
Right.
So the police department should be taking that responsibility. They blame TriMet for this.
Right.
That's so bullshit.
Well, that's like, I mean, Gresham had their big tissy fit about crime on the max. I was like, have you noticed crime in Gresham? It's not exactly great.
Yeah, well, that whole idea that Max creates crime is a red herring.
Yeah, well, anywhere people concentrate,
Right.
there's going to be crime.
Right.
I mean, it just happens a lot of people go around the stations because they ride into town on the max.
And there's people there.
But here's the thing, with the system where we have cities responsible for funding their security forces, TriMet's a government agency. TriMet does not pay tax.
Right.
So Gresham is responding to police calls on property that's technically outside of their city jurisdiction,
Right.
but within their city limits.
I mean,
It's not, yeah, but
that's-
it's in their city
That's where
limits.
one of the broken things happens too. So TriMet acts, and this is what I was going to say a minute ago. TriMet acts as if it were a private corporation, right? I mean, it acts
Yeah, that
like
sure
but
does.
It is totally not by function, okay? And I have talked to so many people, and I'm talking these are college educated, supposed to be uber smart people. They pay pretty decent attention to politics and stuff, and they don't even realize that TriMet gets 80% subsidy. The majority of the population has no idea how much offsets we are on not just transit but roads and all this other stuff. And they think it all just miraculously pays for itself. They think TriMet is a for-profit corporation.
They do?
Like
They really think that?
A huge percentage of the population, yeah. I mean, hell,
boy.
shit, ask some of the people to get on
Well,
the bus.
at one time it was.
They don't even
Before it was
know.
TriMet, it was Road City Transit.
Well, yeah, but people don't know it was for that. They just think that, we're, just like people under the premise that we're a free market economy. Which is
right. No,
we haven't
no.
been even close to that for 80 years or so.
There's no
Or
free markets
at least
anymore,
50.
man.
But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely stunning the level of zero knowledge when it comes to that. I mean, not like a little bit of knowledge, but just none. They have no idea. I was talking to one guy and I told him, and he was like, holy shit, I thought they made all kinds of money. All types of people ride. And I'm like, yeah, but seriously, look at the fare and think about it.
Well, there's a lot of empty seats too, like on his bus.
Yeah, but with the
There's
prices,
a lot of empty seats, whatever. A lot of,
yeah, with the way transit is
Well-
priced, though, it's priced to.
I believe in subsidies for transit, though. I believe that transit should be available through government.
I believe-
like police and fire,
Right.
Well, and
mobility.
plus there's money given to passes and no discount fares.
Now, police and fire, I ain't even gonna start a discussion because a lot of libertarians completely hate me when it comes to that. Because I'm like, dude, come on,
They don't believe in police and fire?
Well, if you get down to the core point of free market, and I mean, hey, in a lot of the country, you don't have government fire and government police. You have local, self-sustaining
Yeah, and
volunteer
little tiny
forces. Right,
community.
and it works in a little community.
Yeah,
When
right.
you get a big city, you got to kind of,
You got to have
you
more
know,
organization.
let that, yeah, you got to coordinate it, you know. But no, I was gonna say, when it comes to fire and police, I ain't gonna talk about it. You just got to pay it. You got to fund it. Period. End of story. It's a city benefit. You pay your taxes and shut the hell up. It needs funding. But when it comes to transit, the only reason we had to subsidize it is, one, we lose 45% of our net income to taxes. I don't give a shit if you make 20 grand a year or you make 200 grand. By the end of the year, when you go to pay your taxes, you look at all that you lose. You look at the stuff that's not even showed on your income statement, because you're paying up beyond what you make in additional taxes that your company has to foot the bill for. I mean, a lot of people don't realize it. They don't look at it anymore. They're like,
well, how
there's
many people
income and
realize
shit and
there's a
whatever.
TRIMET employment tax? Well, if you're self-employed, you do.
I know.
If
I
you're
paid
the
it today.
majority of people, you don't know.
It's paid before, before the wages.
Right.
But you don't see it on a W-2.
Exactly,
You don't
that's
see it
what
on
I
your
mean.
pay stub.
That's what I mean.
But
Right.
your employer is paying a TRIMET tax
Right.
on your income.
If they're in the district.
And that's the
whatnot.
thing, is people are paying all this stuff, and they don't even realize it. But if people had more of that back in their pockets, and they actually had to take the money, or even write a check, or use a credit card, and transfer that money to something to enable them to use a service, like to drive on the road, or to ride on the Max, or whatever, and they actually paid more of the cost and realized what the real cost was of this stuff, there would be a vastly different scenario, more akin, most likely, to what we had in 1880 and 1900 and 1920, which was a mix of transit and automobiles and roadways and all sorts of stuff. But instead, right now, it's whatever the mood of the government is what we have to use, because that's what they focus on. The focus now is flipping back toward these alternate ways to get around and shit, transit stuff. But that's the thing, it's like there's no market motive to it, there's definitely no free market, and there's very little individual choice anymore. I mean, the only reason a lot of people drive these days is because, I mean, they know how to do anything else? No. You know, half of America's been, provided that opportunity to drive without any other opportunity. Knows how it works anymore, barely. I mean, the grid companies are confused by it. I mean, that's why they had the big stupid blackouts for umpteen days. And, I mean, heaven forbid the efficiency of the government can get it fixed or repaired efficiently. I mean, we're talking about probably $1 trillion project to re-grid the Northeast area, from basically Chicago all the way over to whatever. I mean, all of it needs re-gridded. But it's, they don't have the money, the knowledge, or anything anymore. It's in bad shape. If it has, I think I was reading something. It's like there's a few points. If they have major failures, they're going to lose power for days, if not weeks, in some scenarios. And if that happens, I mean, you're going to have mass problems. You can't cut off power to 20 million people and expect not to have problems.